Hi, Grace. I'm going to continue reading you your book. Roll with it. Remember where we left off? They went fishing and they were catching catfish. So anyways, catfish was the only thing we ever caught. Grandpa would pull them in for us. Their long whiskers would whip against the side of the boat when they came up, shiny and dark from the water. I'd squeal a little if one of them brushed against my leg in the bottom of the boat. We'd fill buckets up with lake water and take them back home alive. When I asked Grandpa why, he said, "You want them swimming until they hit the pan, baby girl. Then you clean them and fry them up right." Okay, Grandpa. But every now and then there was a little one, and he'd let me keep it as a pet, swimming around and around in the bucket until all the others had disappeared. Eventually, we'd take it back to the lake. "Live to see another day," he'd say, and he'd salute as its tail disappeared under the water. These are the things I want to remember. These are the things I don't want him to forget. These are the things, the special things. It's 28 degrees out on January 2nd, and nobody's fishing. The lake is big and dark and still, but if I lean over, I can still spot the red buoys, like inflated balloons in a line on the water that mark off the swimming hole. When Mom and I pull into the parking lot of the middle school, I see it's almost full. And the teachers had to come in to get their classrooms ready for tomorrow. Just the thought of tomorrow makes me want to hit the automobile blocks. This school is tiny, like old-timey schoolhouse tiny, not much bigger than the church. It's brick like everything else, and there's a playground next door because the elementary school is right behind it. Mom clucks her tongue when the only 2 handicap spaces are taken by cars. Without handicap tags, she's called a tow truck a time or two, but today she parks along the curb and hurries to get me out. She's already got her game face on. Her game face. It's her advocate mode, the mom setting she developed from years of fighting for insurance to pay for things like new shoes, to go over my braces, and fighting school to extend time between classes, and fighting teachers who thought CP was the same thing as a learning disability. Advocate mode accomplishes a lot, but it also landed me in a bodysuit I had to wear under my clothes for 3 years to help me sit up straighter. You know what that's like, don't you, Grace? It was white with pink stars, and I hated it. So there is a downside. Today, as we roll through the double doors, no handicap button, Mom says, "We are the ability in disability. Hear us roar." Oh boy. But the problem, as I see from the get-go, is that there's nobody to roar at. There's only one person at the front desk when we get into the office, and she's knitting. When she comes around to meet us, I see her, that she is short and round and red-cheeked. It kind of looks like a garden gnome. "Hi, you two. I'm Mrs. Peabody. Just a volunteer up here at the front while everyone's in meetings." She cups my face in her hands and calls me dear, and she smells like rose soap. "We've been expecting you. Let me take you on to the back of the principal's office. Mrs. Rutherford, the principal, is a tall, thin woman, and when she bends down to shake my hand, she reminds me of olive oil from Popeye. A picture of the lake hangs next to her diplomas in her office. And she has one of those big old leather desk chairs that looks like a throne. So nice to meet you both. How are you settling in? We're fine, just fine. Mom gives her a firm handshake and then pulls out a folder with my name across the, probably top, hold on, with my name across the front in huge black letters. She bought a label maker last fall, and I am embarrassed beyond all measure that she has actually put it to use. Good to hear. Give your mother and father a hello from me. I didn't get a chance to speak with them at the Christmas Eve service. Mom blushes, but I don't think Mrs. Rutherford meant anything by it. She looks like someone who says exactly what she means, no more, no less. She keeps going. Well, as you will come to see, we're a small establishment here. There are only 40 students in the 6th grade class, 150 in the entire middle school. Yes, so I've heard. Mrs. Rutherford turns to look at her computer, and it looks like Ellie, I interrupt. Don't interrupt, Ellie, Mom says. Mrs. Rutherford turns to me. Ellie, is it? Well then, I'll just put a note in your file. Mom opens her mouth like she wants to add a good many more notes to my file, but Mrs. Rutherford is talking again and ignores the folder in Mom's lap. Okay, Ellie, I've got you a homeroom with Mrs. Tilly, and then you'll travel with the B group through class changes. Mom jumps at that. Yes, how do you plan to handle class changes? What do you mean, handle? I mean, who will be her aide? Who will be there for bathroom assistance? And what is your plan for physical education? Is the cafeteria handicapped accessible? Are all the classrooms on the ground floor, or will Ellie need to take the elevator? Is there an elevator? Whoa, Mom needs to drink a little less coffee. Mrs. Rutherford looks at her over her glasses like this. Mom looks at Mrs. Rutherford over the top of her file like this. I see my chance and back out of the room slowly. Neither one of them notices. I could have told Mom after one trip down the hallway that the school is only one story. It's that small, and I'm glad. I hated having to be the one of 3 kids waiting for the elevator. It was always me and some soccer player on crutches. I roll along, peering into the classrooms. If there's no teacher there, the bulletin boards in the hallway are already decorated for the Cupid's Arrow Valentine's dance. I managed to skip my first ever dance this year. It was part of the fall festival to raise money for new locker rooms. As if I care about the locker rooms. I stayed home and made a peanut butter cheesecake instead. You know how Ellie likes to cook. Well, bake, specifically. She likes to bake. Like me. As the farthest end of the hallway, there is only one, I turn right and find myself in the gym, and the smell hits me. Floor polish and sweat. Every gym in every school across America smells the same. I'm about to back out when I hear the squeak of tennis shoes and freeze. Across the basketball court, a man in a red tracksuit is stacking wrestling mats. He sees me, straightens, and then jogs over. Lily, correct? I'm Hutch, Coach Hutch. He holds out a hand, but he doesn't squat down next to me, which I appreciate. We shake, and I'm glad, and a little surprised that his hand isn't sweaty. How do you already know who I am? Principal Rutherford wanted to let all of us, those who will be your teachers, know that we'd have a new student tomorrow. Yeah, I bet that's all she said. And I bet they always have a meeting when a new student comes to school. So is Hutch your first name or your last? It comes out sounding a little rude, but I don't mean to be. It's a reflex. Teachers bring out the worst in me. He laughs, though, and rubs the back of his neck. It's shaved in that way guys do when they don't want people to know they're losing their hair. Neither, actually. Hutchinson is my last name, and Jim is my first name. Well, I go by Ellie. All right, Ellie, good to know. I start to rock back and forth. It's a thing I do when I'm fidgety. Mom hates it. Well, Ellie, I better get back to these mats. I'll see you tomorrow. Mr. Hutchinson, Hutch, turns with a wave, and I head back towards the office. That's all for now, Grace. I love you so much. I want you to know I'm thinking about you all the time. And I hope you're doing well. And listen to this story, and then I'll send you another installment from Roll With It. Love you. Bye.